Hi and welcome, everyone. Before we dive into today's story, I want to ask you something simple. Have you ever felt like your life is moving slower than you expected? Maybe you have been working hard for something, a better job, a new opportunity, a dream that means a lot to you. You keep trying, you keep learning, you keep hoping, but weeks pass, months pass. And sometimes it feels like nothing is really changing. In moments like this, waiting can feel very uncomfortable. We live in a world where almost everything happens quickly. Food arrives in minutes. Messages arrive instantly. Information appears with a single click. Speed has become normal. But life itself does not always move that fast. Many of the most meaningful things in life take time. Trust takes time. Growth takes time. Real change takes time. And during that time, we often find ourselves in a place that many people struggle with. The place called waiting. Waiting can feel frustrating. It can make us question ourselves. Sometimes it can even make us feel lost. But what if waiting is not just empty time? What if waiting is actually teaching us something important? Today, we will explore the quiet lesson of waiting, because sometimes the moments that feel the slowest in our lives are the moments when the most important growth is quietly happening. So, take a comfortable breath. Slow down for a moment. And let's begin with the first lesson that waiting teaches us. Part 1. When life feels like it is standing still. There are moments in life when everything feels quiet. Not peaceful quiet, but the kind of quiet that makes you wonder if anything is moving forward at all. You wake up in the morning. You follow your routine. You go to work. You come home. Then the next day looks almost the same. Days slowly turn into weeks. Weeks slowly turn into months. And somewhere inside your mind, a question begins to appear. Am I actually getting closer to the life I want? This feeling is more common than most people think. Many people imagine that progress in life looks dramatic and exciting. They imagine big opportunities, sudden success, and clear turning points. But real life often looks very different. Most progress happens quietly. It happens through small actions repeated over and over again. A person studies a little more each day. Someone practices a skill again and again. Another person slowly improves their habits. None of these changes feel dramatic in the moment. In fact, they often feel ordinary. And because they feel ordinary, it is easy to believe that nothing important is happening. But this is where many people misunderstand the process of growth. Growth is often invisible at the beginning. Think about a seed planted in the ground. After the seed is planted, nothing appears above the soil for a while. If you looked at the ground every day, you might think the seed is doing nothing. But beneath the surface, something important is happening. The seed is opening. Tiny roots are beginning to grow. The plant is slowly preparing itself before it ever appears above the ground. Life works in a very similar way. Many of the changes that shape our future begin below the surface. Skills develop quietly. Confidence grows slowly. Understanding becomes deeper with time. But because we cannot immediately see these changes, we often become impatient. We want clear proof that our effort is working. We want visible progress. When that progress does not appear quickly, doubt begins to enter our minds. We start asking difficult questions. Maybe I chose the wrong path. Maybe this effort will never lead anywhere. Maybe I should stop trying. These thoughts can feel powerful, but they are often part of the waiting season, a season where progress is still happening, even if it is not yet visible. The challenge during these moments is simple but not easy: to continue moving forward, even when life feels like it is standing still. Because sometimes the quietest periods of our lives are the moments when the strongest foundations are being built. Part 2. Why waiting feels so uncomfortable. If waiting can be so important, why does it feel so difficult? Why do we become restless when things move slowly? The answer has a lot to do with the way the human mind works. Our brains naturally prefer quick results. When we take action, we expect a response. If we press a button, something should happen. If we send a message, someone should reply. If we work hard, success should appear. This expectation feels natural, but life rarely follows such a simple pattern. Many meaningful achievements require long periods of effort before results appear. A student may study for years before reaching a professional career. An artist may practice quietly for a long time before anyone notices their work. A person trying to improve their life may need months or years before real change becomes visible. During this time, something uncomfortable happens. There is effort, but there is no immediate reward. And when effort does not quickly produce visible results, the mind begins to feel uncertain. Uncertainty can create many thoughts. Is this really working? Am I wasting my time? Should I try something else? These thoughts are not unusual. Almost everyone experiences them at some point in their journey. Part of the reason is that our brains evolved to react quickly to the world around us. Long ago, quick decisions helped people survive. When early humans faced danger, they needed fast reactions. Waiting too long could be risky. Because of this history, the human mind still prefers speed and clarity. But modern life often asks us to do the opposite. Instead of quick reactions, many goals require patience. Instead of immediate answers, we face long periods of uncertainty. This creates tension inside us. One part of our mind understands that meaningful things take time, but another part becomes impatient. And that impatience often grows stronger when we compare ourselves to others. Today, it is very easy to see other people's achievements. We see promotions, we see successful businesses, we see exciting lives on social media. But what we usually do not see is the waiting that happened before those moments. We do not see the years of quiet practice. We do not see the moments when those people also doubted themselves. We only see the final result. And when we compare someone else's visible success with our invisible waiting, it can feel discouraging. But every meaningful journey includes periods of waiting. No one moves forward all the time. There are moments of rapid progress. And there are moments when life slows down. Understanding this truth does not make waiting completely comfortable, but it can help us accept it. Because sometimes waiting is not a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it is simply part of how real growth happens. Part 3. The quiet years that no one sees. Let's consider a simple story. It is not about a famous person. It is about someone whose experience is actually very common. A young man once decided that he wanted to change his life. He did not come from a special background. He did not have powerful connections. But he had one important thing: a strong desire to build something better for himself and for his family. So he began to work on his goal. During the day, he did his regular job. At night, he studied new skills. He watched lessons, read books, and practiced what he was learning. At first, he felt excited. Every new idea felt like progress. Every small improvement gave him hope. But after some time, things began to feel different. Months passed. Then a year passed. From the outside, nothing in his life looked very different. He still lived in the same place. He still worked the same job. He still followed the same routine. Sometimes his friends asked him questions. "Why do you spend so much time learning this? Is it really going to help you? Why don't you choose something easier?" These questions were not meant to hurt him, but they made the waiting feel heavier. Because when progress is invisible, even the people around you may not understand your effort. There were nights when the young man felt uncertain. He wondered if all his time and energy would ever lead to something meaningful. He wondered if he was simply chasing an unrealistic dream. But something inside him kept saying one simple sentence: "Keep going." So he continued. Not perfectly, not with constant confidence, but with quiet persistence. Day after day, he kept learning. Little by little, his skills improved. Things that once felt difficult slowly became easier. Ideas that once seemed confusing slowly became clear. Then one day, something small happened. He received a new opportunity. It was not a huge success. It was simply a chance to use the skills he had been developing for years. But because he had spent so much time preparing, he was ready. He accepted the opportunity. Then another one appeared, and then another. Slowly, the life that once felt stuck began to move forward. Later, when people saw his progress, many of them said something interesting. "You're lucky. You succeeded so fast. It happened so quickly." The young man only smiled, because he knew something they did not. The success they were seeing had not appeared overnight. It had been quietly built during the years when nothing seemed to be happening. Those were the waiting years, the years that no one noticed, but also the years that made everything possible. Part 4. Waiting is often preparation. One of the most difficult ideas for people to accept is this: waiting is not always wasted time. In fact, many times waiting is preparation. The challenge is that preparation does not always look exciting while it is happening. Imagine a person learning to play the guitar. During the first weeks, the music does not sound very beautiful. The fingers move slowly. The notes are not always correct. Someone listening from outside the room might think the practice is not very impressive. But the person practicing understands something important. Every small effort is building a skill. The fingers are becoming stronger. The mind is learning how the music works. The movements are slowly becoming natural. Even when the progress is not obvious, preparation is taking place. Life often works in the same way. Before someone becomes successful in a career, they usually spend many years learning and improving. Before someone becomes confident, they often pass through periods of uncertainty. Before someone reaches an important opportunity, they usually go through a long season of preparation. The difficulty is that preparation often feels repetitive. You wake up, you work, you practice. Then the next day looks very similar. Nothing dramatic happens. No one applauds your effort. And sometimes it can feel like you are simply moving in circles. But these quiet repetitions are building something powerful. They are building the foundation for the future. Think about how a tree grows. When a tree is very young, most of its growth happens below the ground. The roots begin to spread through the soil. They search for water. They create stability. Above the ground, the tree may still look small. But beneath the surface, a strong system is forming. Without strong roots, the tree would not survive strong winds. Without deep roots, the tree could not grow tall. In the same way, many waiting seasons in our lives are actually seasons of root building. During these times, we develop qualities that cannot be rushed. Patience, discipline, focus, emotional strength. These qualities are rarely built during moments of easy success. They are built during quiet effort. They are built when we continue trying even when progress feels slow. And when the moment finally comes to move forward, these hidden roots support us. They allow us to handle responsibility. They allow us to grow without breaking. Waiting may not always feel productive, but many times it is quietly preparing us for the life we are hoping to create. Part 5. What waiting teaches us about ourselves. Waiting does something interesting to us. When life moves quickly, we rarely stop to think deeply about ourselves. We move from one responsibility to another. One task leads to the next. We focus on finishing things, solving problems, and moving forward. But when life slows down, something different happens. Waiting creates space. And in that space, we begin to notice our thoughts more clearly. We begin to see how we react when things do not go according to our plans. For some people, waiting reveals impatience. They feel uncomfortable when progress is slow. They want results quickly. They want clear answers. When those answers do not appear, frustration begins to grow. But through waiting, they slowly learn patience. Not the kind of patience that means doing nothing, but the kind that means continuing to work without demanding immediate rewards. For others, waiting reveals fear. When the future feels uncertain, the mind sometimes creates negative stories. What if this never works? What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? These fears can feel very real, but waiting also gives us time to face those fears. And when we face them, we often discover something important. Many of our fears are stronger in our imagination than they are in reality. Waiting also helps us discover what truly matters to us. When something takes a long time to achieve, we naturally ask ourselves an important question. Is this really worth it? If the answer is no, we may choose a different path. But if the answer is yes, our commitment becomes stronger. Because we realize we are not continuing simply because something is easy. We continue because it is meaningful. Waiting also teaches us persistence. Many people start new goals with excitement, but excitement often fades when progress becomes slow. Only those who truly care about their goal continue through the difficult moments. In this way, waiting becomes a test. It separates temporary interest from true dedication. Another quiet lesson appears during these slow seasons. We become more aware of ourselves. We notice our habits. We observe how we respond to uncertainty. This self-awareness is valuable. Because growth is not only about achieving success in the outside world. It is also about understanding the person we are becoming. Sometimes the moments that feel like delays in life are actually moments when we are learning the most about ourselves. And those lessons can stay with us long after the waiting season has passed. Part 6. When preparation meets opportunity. One of the most mysterious things in life is timing. Sometimes we work hard for something, yet nothing seems to happen. We prepare, we practice, we improve ourselves little by little, but the opportunity we are waiting for does not appear. This can feel confusing. It can even feel discouraging. We might begin to wonder if our effort is meaningless. But often, The truth is much more complex. In many situations, success does not depend only on effort. It also depends on timing. Think about a farmer planting seeds. The farmer cannot rush the seasons. No matter how much he hopes for it, the crops cannot grow overnight. The soil needs time. The weather needs time. The seed itself needs time. Only when the conditions are right does the plant finally grow. Life often works in a similar way. Your preparation is important. But the world around you also needs time to create the right moment. New opportunities appear when different factors come together. Your skills, your experience, your connections, the needs of the world around you. When these things finally meet, something powerful can happen. But this meeting rarely happens instantly. It usually appears after a long period of quiet preparation. During that preparation, it may feel like nothing is changing. But two important things are happening. First, you are becoming more capable. Every day of practice strengthens your ability. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every challenge improves your understanding. Even when progress feels small, it is still progress. Second, the world around you is also changing. Industries evolve. New problems appear. New opportunities slowly develop. Sometimes the opportunity you are waiting for simply did not exist before. But over time, the world creates space for new ideas and new people. And when that moment arrives, preparation suddenly becomes powerful. What once felt like slow progress now becomes a strong advantage. Many people call this moment luck, but if we look carefully, we see something different. Luck often appears when preparation finally meets opportunity. Without preparation, opportunity may pass unnoticed. Without opportunity, preparation may feel invisible. But when the two finally meet, the results can be life-changing. This is why patience matters, because sometimes the opportunity you are waiting for is already on its way. It simply has not arrived yet. Part 7. Trusting the season you are in. As we move through life, one truth slowly becomes clear. Life does not move in a straight line. Instead, it moves through different seasons. There are seasons of action, when everything feels energetic and exciting. There are seasons of growth when we can clearly see progress happening. But there are also seasons of waiting. And those seasons can feel the most difficult. During a waiting season, life may appear quiet. The progress we hoped for may seem slow. The answers we are looking for may not arrive immediately. It is during these moments that many people begin to lose confidence. They start to believe that something has gone wrong. They assume that waiting means failure. But waiting is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it is simply a different season of the journey. Think about the seasons in nature. During spring, everything begins to grow. Flowers appear. Trees become green again. Life seems full of movement. During summer, growth becomes strong and visible. Plants become taller. Fruit begins to appear. But then autumn arrives. Leaves begin to fall. The energy of nature slowly begins to change. And finally, winter comes. The world becomes quiet. The trees look empty. The fields appear still. Yet winter is not the end of life. It is a period of rest and preparation. Beneath the surface, the soil is recovering. Seeds remain protected under the ground. Nature is preparing for the next cycle of growth. Without winter, spring would not be possible. In our lives, waiting seasons can serve a similar purpose. They give us time to reflect. They give us time to gather strength. They allow us to adjust our direction and understand what truly matters. Sometimes these slower seasons help us discover new ideas. Sometimes they help us become more patient and thoughtful. And sometimes they simply allow us to grow quietly. When we begin to see waiting as part of a natural rhythm, it becomes less frightening. Instead of feeling trapped, we begin to understand that our journey is still moving forward. Even if the movement is slow, even if the progress is not yet visible, learning to trust the season you are in does not remove uncertainty. But it brings something very valuable, a sense of peace, the quiet belief that your story is still unfolding, and that every season, even the quiet ones, has its purpose. As we come to the end of this reflection, there is one simple idea to remember. Waiting is not always empty time. Sometimes, waiting is where life quietly prepares us for what comes next. During the moments when nothing seems to be changing, something deeper may actually be happening. Your patience is growing. Your understanding is becoming clearer. Your strength is slowly developing through experiences that may not seem important right now. Many of the most meaningful achievements in life begin during quiet seasons. Seasons when progress feels slow. Seasons when effort feels unnoticed. Seasons when the only thing we can do is continue moving forward, one small step at a time. If you are in a waiting season right now, try not to lose hope. Your journey has not stopped. You may simply be in the part of the story where preparation is still taking place. And one day, when the right moment arrives, you may look back and realize that the waiting was never meaningless. It was part of the lesson. Thank you for spending this time here. If you enjoy thoughtful stories like this that help you practice English while exploring life lessons, consider subscribing to the channel. And if this message spoke to you, feel free to share it with someone who might need a little encouragement today. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward, even if the steps feel small.